First question? Okay. Oh, dear. Well, our efforts to support the democratic processes in Panama and to ensure continued safety of American citizens, now moving into its second day, I'm gratified by the decision and the precision and the effectiveness of the military forces in achieving their objectives. I'm pleased that the Endara government has taken charge, and they've made several appointments today, starting to govern the country. The young men and women involved but which we can never accept, and maybe it's just this time of year, but I don't think so. But put this way, particularly at this time of year, my heart goes out to the families of those who have died in Panama, those who have been wounded. This operation is not over, but it's pretty well wrapped up. And we've moved aggressively to neutralize the PDF, to provide a stable environment for the freely elected Endara government. And I mentioned that. It helps to ensure the integrity of the Panama Canal and to create an environment that is safe for American citizens. General Noriega is no longer in power. He no longer commands the instruments of government or the forces of repression that he's used for so long to brutalize the Panamanian people. And we're continuing the efforts to apprehend him, see that he's brought to justice. I appreciate the support.
Are you frustrated that he got away? How long will you keep on chasing him, and are you confident that you'll get him?
I've been frustrated that he's been in power this long. Extraordinarily frustrated. The good news, he's out of power. The bad news, he has not yet been brought to justice. So I'd have to say, Terry, there is a certain level of frustration on that account. The good news, though, is that the government's beginning to function and the man controls no forces, and he's out. But yes, I won't be satisfied until we see him come to justice.
How long will you keep up this full-scale pursuit?
As long as it takes.
Mr. President, you did mention...
Was very upfront with us about that, and every human life is precious, and yet I have to answer, yes, it has been worth it. David, but what David Hoffman is referring to is that I said our argument was not with the PDF, but with Noriega, and if they would get rid of him and recognize a democratically elected government, we could go back to more normalized relations. We've done that, but we have to see who emerges in the PDF. But I would like to repeat here that we have no continuing axe to grind with the institution of the PDF. Endara is going to need loyal troops who recognize the Constitution and the fairness and the legitimacy of his election.
Mr. President, in light of what you've said,
going after them, PDF units have pretty been rolled up, but we will keep whatever force is necessary there until our military are satisfied and recommend to the president that they be withdrawn. I want them out of there as soon as possible.
President, just to follow up, if I could, sir.
Because if you get Noriega, the Americans may still be held.
And if we get more Noriega, in quite a pretty much likelihood they'll be released unless somebody wants to use held American as a ticket to get out of town. So we're doing both. We are concentrating every way we possibly can to find Noriega, and that is not drawing down, here's my answer, it is not drawing down on the assets that we have available to safeguard the lives of Americans. They're not mutually exclusive. Ellen?
Sir, why is it that tens of thousands of American fighting men, and with all of our intelligence, we're still unable to catch one bad guy from Panama?
Because intelligence is imperfect, Ellen.
And sir, did we make an effort?
It's good. Sometimes it's certain. Counting numbers, very sure. Intention of a person to be someplace or move, very difficult. But it's still sophisticated. I'm convinced we got the best.
Type of thing that we will be doing in the future.
His picture will be in every post office in town. That's the way it works. He's a fugitive drug dealer, and we want to see him brought to justice. And if that helps, if there's some incentive for some Panamanian to turn him in, that's a very $1 million that I would be very happy to sign the check for, yes.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about what has been destroyed down
Yes, I'm willing to help the Panamanian people. We've already ordered the lifting of sanctions. I'm convinced that as we open up economic channels, they'll do a much better, the standard of living will increase for all as we go forward with investment. We have permitted now the reflagging, or put it this way, made them, don't have to unflag their Panamanian vessels. And there are other things that we can do. We've released escrowed funds. We're trying to help Mr. Endara already with, operating funds to pay the workers and the people. And beyond that, though, I think your question goes, Karen, I think we will feel obligated to try to help in every way possible. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. President.
Hiding. What are the chances of that?
I don't think so. The military doesn't seem to think that he has the communications or a PDF continued loyalty that would make him go into the woods. I like the way Colin Powell put it. He hadn't been in a jungle in a long time, and it's tough living, and he's been living high off the hog, off the Panamanian people. And so we don't expect kind of a Sierra Madre approach to this. Sarah, you've been...
Going backwards. What is your reaction to this?
My reaction is I need to get on a wire there or get a telegram or something, explain this to Mr. Gorbachev. It's not altogether surprising that he doesn't understand some of the special arrangements that the United States has in Panama. It's not surprising that he doesn't fully understand that this freely elected man had been deprived of the democracy. And I also need to let him know, look, if American Marine is killed, if they kill an American Marine, that's real bad. And if they threaten and brutalize the wife of an American citizen, sexually threatening the lieutenant's wife while kicking him in the groin over and over again, then, Mr. Gorbachev, please understand, this president is going to do something about it. So we'll have to explain it very clearly. Last one, Maureen, and then I really do have